What up? What up? Thanks for tuning into the Brown Mamba podcast. Again, my name is Jackson. Um, gonna try to make this a quick episode today. Got a lot of stuff. Been doing a lot this week. Kind of busy. Got a lot to do today too. Just wanted to get my football picks out there and go over my fantasy football stuff. Um, just so I can keep it going for the rest of the season. Um, yeah. So as you can see, using a new camera today. Found my old just a Canon Rebel T3i or whatever. Um, but bear with me because I'm still working some kinks out. The memory card isn't that big to be able to record a full thing, so there might be a couple cuts in here or there. Um, and then yeah, bear with me. So like I said, I want to keep this quick. So let's get this thing going. Um, Starting things off with my with some fantasy football. Um, a little update on the last episode. If you listened, I was talking shit how I was gonna beat my brother. Ended up coming back and beating me because he has Ben Roethlisberger. So ended up beating me by less than 2 points, 109 to 107.26. So yeah, you do the math because I don't want to. So this week coming up, um, starting off with my family league. Uh, I pretty much keeping the lineup the same. Um, Still on the fence about whether or not I should switch out my tight ends. Um, Martellus Bennett didn't do so well against the Cardinals, but then again, you know, like we were talking about, when Gronk comes back, that's going to change. So I kind of made a last minute decision to pick up Austin Seferian-Jenkins from Tampa Bay. Like I said, I'm on the fence right now between those two, but running it down through the list, top to bottom. Again, I'm starting my boy Derek Carr with the Raiders at quarterback. Going with Mike Evans, Jarvis Landry as my receivers, AP and Spencer Ware again as running backs, and then I hope AP has a lot better of a week than he did last week. Last week was pretty bad. But what can you do? They don't really have a quarterback right now. Again, a tight end on the fence. It's going to be a game time decision between Martellus Bennett and Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Flex, I got Amari Cooper, who did really well for me last week also. Kicker, Seabass, always, you know it. And then, Green Bay again at defense. They played pretty well as far as like doing all the other things, like getting like some turnovers and sacks and stuff. Pause, but they just got to keep the points down. That's how it kind of was. Coffee at, yeah, I'll get it later. Uh, uh, get the got to keep the points down. That was the problem with my other defense too. So, um, yeah, hopefully I do a lot better. The guy I'm playing this week, um, let's see, had someone going. Had who was it last night? Had Brandon Marshall and Sammy Watkins going yesterday, in the Thursday night game. Brandon Marshall, 10 points. Sammy Watkins, 2 points. Thank God I didn't start him, which is Sammy Watkins, because he was his foot hurt or whatever, and he was kind of on the fence on playing, which is a good transition into my other team, my friends league. So, um, uh, let's see. Yeah, it wasn't really last minute, but I did decide not to play Sammy Watkins last night. Um, I figured I'd give some other healthy guys a chance. So Sammy Watkins sat on the bench for me and ended up only getting 2 points. So thank God for that. That I got him had him sit down. So going through my friends league. Let's see. Oh, that one, update on that. I won that one too. Not two, but I won that one, that matchup. Antonio Brown. I needed Antonio Brown to come big. He did. Pause. And so, yeah, I won by like 7 points, I think. Yeah, I won like 7 points. Antonio Brown gave me a whole bunch of points at the last minute. He gave me, let me just see. Let me just brag a little bit. He gave me 25 points, baby. That's what I needed. And I only needed I think I only needed like 20 or 18 or something. But he came through big for me. Thanks, AB. Looking forward to bigger things this whole year. All right, so going through my friends league. At quarterback, I Still on the fence right now. Also between Jay Cutler and Kirk Cousins. Um, both guys looked okay. It's just with Kirk Cousins is playing the Cowboys, and then Cutler's playing the Eagles on Monday night. Kind of tough. Dallas's defense is going to be probably going to be tired. They're going to be on the field a lot with the lack of offense right now with their or lack of quarterback, kind of correlating to lack of offense. So they might be a little bit tired, and Kirk Cousins might be able to take advantage. Maybe they didn't look too great on Monday, but um, who knows? And then Jay Cutler. The only reason why I'm having Jay Cutler in there is if he throws touchdowns, he's throwing him to Alshon Jeffrey, who's one of my receivers. So might as well try to double up on those points. Um, so again, quarterback going to be last minute decision between Jay Cutler and Kirk Cousins. Wide receivers, I got Antonio Brown and, like I mentioned before, Alshon Jeffrey. My running backs, Arian Foster and Danny Woodhead, who I'm going to learn. Please don't let me down this week. You're playing Jacksonville. Hopefully, it's a little bit better than that. Hopefully, you do just as well against them as you did against the Chiefs. Um, and vice versa. Hopefully, Darren Sproles doesn't have the game of his life or anything like that against the Bears, because now he's on my bench. My tight end, I got Travis Kelce, and then for my flex position, I got Martellus Bennett. Don't really have any other options at this point, unless I might start Darren Sproles. Like I said, it's going to be kind of a lot of last minute decisions. Still just not quite sure. Um, and then a kicker, Seabass always. Defense, Carolina, playing San Francisco. I'm hoping that they just, they're at home, and I'm hoping it's just a straight, they're playing a lot better. It's just a nice, I don't want to say massacre, but they'll get me. I hope that they can get me at least double digits that day or that game. So yeah, those are my starting lineups. Um, I was kind of just thinking about it right now. Family and friend league. I'm just gonna give them the league names. I don't care. So my family league, we call it. It's called Paul's Players because for my grandpa who passed away a few years ago. Rest in peace, Gramps. So it's all of us. It's all like his my uncles and aunts. So his kids, and then my cousins. So all the grandkids. We're all in the league together, and a couple of great grandkids were they're in high school. So yeah, we all play in this league. It's dedicated to him, and we have a lot of fun. It's helped. It's a really good time for our family. We're all the boys played football growing up, and my grandpa was a really big fan of that. So what better way to pay tribute to him than have a fantasy football league that we can all keep enjoying football for him in his memory. So this is fun. Like my brother's in it, my mom's in it, and that's really fun too. My mom knows a little bit about football, just watching me, and my brother, growing up playing it. So I really like this league. Like I said, it's a lot more fun, a lot more laid back. It's not as competitive, um, and it's just a good way to keep the family together. You know. And then my other league is called Fantasy Football. So whenever I talk about a family league, I'll just call it my Gramps' league. And then for the Fantasy Football 2K17, this is just a group of guys from high school. We all play together. Um, we're all friends from high school, and then a couple other guys who are friends of friends. If maybe one year one guy doesn't want to play, but it's usually the same of us. Ban is an inside joke that from between all of us, and then so we just kind of played on fantasy. That way, it's the league is pretty unique to our own. Most of these guys we've all played together before. It's pretty fun. Usually the same core guys, like four core 5, 6 guys with a few rotating cast members, like I said. But yeah, this is your typical like the friends league. Just guys that you grew up with. Playing real sports with. Now you're playing fake sports with. So that's how it works when you're out of high school or out of college and you're not playing any more real sports competitively. You just play fake sports competitively. So that's what this is. And yeah, um, both weeks I'm projected to lose. Um, but I was originally projected to lose in my Gramps league, but now because Sammy Walker didn't do so well, I I'm projected to win, but originally I wasn't. And then in the fantasy league, I'm predicted to lose by like 10 points. So hopefully we can prove them wrong. So all right, yeah. Like I said, got a lot of last minute decisions, things to look up, stuff that ultimately probably won't really help me make end up making my decision, but you got to do it anyway. All right, so now I'm gonna get into my week 2 picks. Again, these are just gonna be straight up picks, not like any money line or over unders or who's gonna lay the point. But I'm not gonna do any gambling style stuff. Just straight up picks, and then again, like I said, I'm gonna tally up how I do at the end of the season, and hopefully I'm at least above 500. That's my goal, to be above 500. So week 2, I missed last night's game. I was out doing some stuff, and quite honestly, I didn't really care about Jets Bills. We already know the Patriots are going to win the AFC East. Doesn't really matter. But I saw some highlights. Man, the Bills do not look good. I mean, they scored a lot of points, but I mean, it is, you know, I mean, yeah, sure, the Jets are supposed to have a good defense, but whatever, it wasn't that great. Um, but yeah, man, giving up. I think it was 3 touchdowns, 100 yards to Matt Forte. It's pretty tough. A guy that was, Chicago pretty much wrote off as almost not done, but getting up there in age, stuff like that. And they let that guy pretty much run all over him. Um, you know, but hey, what can you do? That's the AFC East. Sorry, Bills Mafia. Sorry, Jets. I don't know, Mafia or whatever. I didn't really care about that game too much. It was cool. I guess the color rush was cool. They didn't have the hole, and then they how they changed the jerseys so that last year, if you didn't know, or if you don't know, color rush is this thing they're doing where they're promoting like I don't know if it's for I still don't know if it's for like an awareness for something or what it's for, but what they do is they have the NFL teams wear monochromatic uniforms, so it's all one color, and just in like I said, they call it the color rush, and I guess it's more than likely it's just like an advertising ploy to get or a marketing or merchandising ploy so they can sell more merch, but whatever. But uh, yeah. So last year, I think it was the Jets and the Bills too. When they played, the Jets wore all green and the Bills wore all red. So what happened was, people who were colorblind were watching the game and they didn't know what was going on because of the reds and the greens, and and if you're colorblind and you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm not colorblind, but I have some friends who are, and they said they try to watch it and they're like, oh, like yeah, dude, I couldn't tell what's going on. So they I think it happened one more time with another team that had like how it works with like being colorblind. You can't see like certain red and whatever like that. And it happened again. Kind of not complained, but it was kind of it's obviously an issue. So they changed it where the home team wears all white or all a light color, and then the away team or the home team wears all whatever a solid color, I guess. So yeah, so they changed it. The They changed that up a bit, and yeah, I thought that was pretty funny how they actually addressed it. But but yeah, so moving on. Let's see, I'll go game by game from the beginning. So we got Saints and Giants. Giants looked pretty good in the win. I mean, they looked okay. Everyone thought they should have done a lot better considering the stuff that was going on with the Cowboys. Saints looked really good on. I'll give them that much. I watched the entire Saints Raiders game. Saints looked really good on offense. They gave Sean Smith some headaches. That's for sure. They gave him a lot of headaches. But defense still didn't look too great. I mean, I love the Raiders. Their defense is good. I mean, their offense is good. Excuse me, but it's not as great. It's not that great yet. I don't think their offensive line is tremendous, even though they got banged up a little bit, which I'll get to in a little bit when I talk about the Raiders. But yeah, their defense gave up a lot of points, a lot of yards to a lot of young guys. Um, but ultimately, not really sure how this would go. Um, my best bet, I'd go with the Giants at home. They're coming off of a win. They're going back home, feeling good. First home game, of the season. So I'd have to go with the Giants at home. Um, Titans Lions. Again, Titans, man, they did not look. I was kind of hoping a lot more from Marcus Mariota. Hawaii guy. I got my family from Hawaii, so kind of always got love for the Hawaii and poly guys. But yeah, it didn't look that great, you know. But again, it's his second year. Usually, it might be a sophomore slump. Hopefully, going forward, he gets a lot better. But yeah, it didn't look great. So give me the Lions at home. And who'd have thought that you know, if you're a Bill Simmons fan or a Grantland fan or a newly Ringer fan like I am, then you know about the Ewing theory. Um, who'd have thought that Calvin Johnson might be a candidate for the Ewing theory? You know, people talked about it, but I think it was more in joking. You know, but people talking about the Ewing theory, but more than anything, it's probably just the fact that Jim Bob Cooter, aka the funniest name in sports, um, Jim Bob Cooter, I guess his offense is just a lot better than you know how it was before. Because especially with the Lions, they had Jim Schwartz for so long. Jim Schwartz was the defense-minded guy first. You know, kind of did not want to say wasted, but yeah, you know he kind of wasted. They wasted a lot of Calvin Johnson's uh, prime years. Um, best was probably arguably the best receiver of the last the last decade or the last era, I guess. But never got to see his full potential. You know, he was on a part of an 0-16 team. Like like imagine Jerry Rice on the Niners being a part of an 0-16 team. You know, like just think about that. That's essentially the equivalent to what happened with Calvin Johnson. Pretty tough, but yeah, Lions looking a lot better than I thought. I'll take the Lions over the Titans. Cowboys and the Skins. Still trying to figure out a way I can kind of avoid calling them Redskins. Before I was kind of like whatever about not whatever, but it is a not a nice name and all that, but it will never change, and I don't think people realize that it will never change as long as Dan Snyder's there because um, all these teams and all these owners they own those team names, and so Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins, owns the rights to that name, the nickname Redskins. So he makes money off of that. So he will never change that name unless he can change it to another name that he can make money off of. So, um, and if you don't believe me, look up the whole thing with the Pelicans and the New Orleans when the league sold when the NBA sold the Hornets at the time. They were the New Orleans Hornets. When the league sold the Hornets to I forget the guy's name, whoever the guy that bought them was. Everyone's like, why is he gonna change his name to the Pelicans? And that's because um, his like family, he like comes from money. His family owned the right. They used to own this like minor league baseball team in like the 1800s or something, or the early 1900s, and the team name was the Pelicans. And they've kept that name. They've kept the rights to that name for all these years. And then the guy said, "Hey, I can buy this team." Changed it. They became the Pelicans. Now he makes all the money for it. Same thing with the Lakers. Lakers is our family business. They own the rights to the term Lakers. As you can see, they own. Like, I know a little about this too. They own the Lakers. They're gonna make money off of it. So the only way you're gonna get a team name to change is if, yeah, you can find if Dan Snyder can find a way to get a new name that he can make money off of. So you can fight and fight all you want, but you know people know notoriously Dan Snyder is not a nice person, not a very nice person. You can do some Googles, do your Googles on Dan Snyder, and you'll realize that all those people out there who really were fighting for change, for changing the Redskins name, it's going to be tough unless you can get done. Really, it's only going to change unless Dan Snyder gets out of there. So yeah, good luck. I don't know. I've heard some people call them just. I've heard some people call them the Grudens. You know, with Jay Gruden being their coach. I've heard some people call them the Native Americans, but I'll just keep calling them the Skins until now. You know, um, or just Washington. So yeah, so we got Cowboys against Washington. Um, uh, this one, man, it's tough because people had high hopes for Washington. You know, more same thing with the Cowboys. But yeah, this is pretty tough. You know, I kind of liked how the Cowboys looked. They fought it. They hung in tough all the way up until the end. Until again, mentioned it before, bonehead Terrence Williams making a mistake. They had a chance to win. I think the Giants are way better than the Redskins. Or sorry, again, I think the Giants are way better than Washington. So yeah, I'll take the Cowboys on the road against the Skins. That's probably my safest bet with that. Chiefs Texans, even the Chiefs, they played that comeback. They should not have won that game, but they are still a good team. Spencer Ware did great for me in fantasy, which means he did great in real life on the field. Usually that's how it correlates. Um, Texans, man, they still got a lot of work to do. Um, Lamar Miller looked pretty good. Um, you know, Brock Osweiler did okay. They didn't have any real news about him stinking it up, and that's how you know. It's usually a good sign when they don't say anything. So he did pretty well, I guess. And then uh, but ultimately, I think the Chiefs are a better team. Yeah, give me the Chiefs over the Texans. Dolphins, Patriots. Not much more to say here. Patriots. Patriots at home. Really, even without even with Garoppolo, you know, Patriots can't go wrong. So Ravens, Browns next. Give me the Ravens. Browns. What can you say, man? I was talking about this, or I was thinking this, man. It must really, really suck to be a Browns fan. Everyone's talking about Believe Land and all that stuff. Congrats to the Cavs on winning. The Indians are doing pretty well. Windians with all that, with all that stuff. Um, but man, everyone had really, everyone really had high hopes for the Browns with all this going on. But yeah, it's tough. Must be really tough. RG3 to him too. You know, best of luck, man. That's tough, real tough. You know, especially a city like or a team like the Browns, where it just seems like everything that can go wrong will go wrong with them. I don't know, man. Ravens over the Browns, pretty easy. Um, Panthers Niners talked about it a little earlier with my fantasy picks. Give me the Panthers over the Niners at home. Niners, they put up like 28 points or 30 whatever points against the Rams, who again I'll get to, but geez, the Rams. Um, Niners, they didn't look that great themselves, so just give me the Panthers over the Niners. Should be pretty straightforward again with that. Um, Steelers Bengals. Now this is gonna be another good game. A really good game. Um, Bengals looked a lot. Bengals look pretty good. Um, everyone's still picking the Steelers to be the favorite again, like me. So I'm just gonna get right to it. I think the Steelers are gonna win. Um, Give me Steelers over the Bengals. Excuse me. Um, they Steelers look really good on offense. So did the Bengals. Bengals had got a lot of good things going, but just man, I don't know if the Steelers, man, really stuck to the we're gonna score points, and so what we're gonna do is we'll just drop people back, and we dare you to beat us. We're gonna score more than you, and we dare you to try and get to score as much as us. And that's not saying that they're gonna on defense they're just gonna let them run around and stuff, but they're gonna keep everything in front. They're not gonna get beat deep. They're gonna keep everything in front and try to force them to run it, or you know just try. They're gonna make them work. They're not gonna give up a deep. They're not gonna give up an easy lob over the top or anything like that. They're gonna keep it in front, make you stay in front of them, and try to beat them the old-fashioned way and try to pound it in there. Pause. So yeah, it's gonna be tough for the Bengals, especially with to do that, especially with AJ Green is a deep threat, but they're gonna for sure the Steelers can try to eliminate that and make them beat them on the ground with you know with Dalton and I think it's Giovanni Bernard still and all those and Jeremy Hill and those guys. So yeah, Steelers over the Bengals. Cards Bucks. This is gonna be another tough one. Um, this is that game where it's like someone should when it's like when you after you look at week one you say hey someone should be who shouldn't be 0-1 who should be 0-1. This is these are both those teams. The Cards should not be 0-1 and the Bucks based on how the way that the game went they shouldn't be 1-0. Um, and this is one of those games that really could go both ways. Bucks are playing really well. They look really good. Like I said, they were my sleeper team. And um, uh, in the first pod that I did, I said that Lovie Smith was the coach. I guess he's not anymore. I don't know who it is still, but I just wanted to correct myself. A lot of this stuff is off top, so I don't really have any notes. All I got is just my laptop open with the schedule. I don't have any like notes really. Um, just what I remember from watching the games, all that. So bear with me. Yeah, Bucks cards. They didn't look too great in the first half. On Sunday night, but they turned it around in the second half. Fitz, man, looking good, looking real good. Um, yeah, real good. If he can keep up that kind of play, hopefully he can take advantage of the Bucks doing that. Just hitting fits on like short routes, opening up the field a little bit. Bringing guys in. Hopefully it can open up the field for guys like John Brown, Malcolm or Michael Floyd to go deep. Hopefully that works. Um, but then again, the Bucks, man, looking pretty good. I like Doug Martin. Jameis. Jabu looking pretty good, looking a little more trim, looking a lot more confident. So it's gonna be a good game. Um, Ultimately, like I said before, if it's a tough game, I always go with the home team. You can't go wrong with that. Um, so give me the Bucks. I mean, excuse me, give me the Cards over the Bucks. Seahawks Rams. If Russell Wilson didn't get hurt, I'd say for sure give me the Seahawks over the Rams because the Rams look like freaking hot shit on Monday night. Pretty embarrassing for everyone all around, especially those like me. Like I watched Hard Knocks. I watched up to like the third episode, and I'm just like, dude, this team is whack. Like I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, but man, this team is whack. I didn't even watch the last episode of Hard Knocks or anything like that. It just got too boring, and like this team is whack. I mean, I just say it. You guys are obviously all a lot more tremendous athletes than I am. That's why they're all on the field playing, making all that money. Oh. And I'm sitting here uh, talking about it on a microphone in my room. Um, but man, that looked bad. Even Aaron Donald didn't want to be there anymore. That's why he threw his helmet and got himself kicked out. Because I don't want to do this shit anymore, man. And so yeah. But anyway, I'll still take even though, like I said, I don't know what Russell Wilson's status is. Give me the Seahawks over the Rams. Um, and then now that I say this, I'm still sticking to it. But now that I say this, watch the Rams somehow pull one out of their ass and just beat the Seahawks, and then keep giving them fits like they always have. So, but yeah, Seahawks too. I didn't really get a chance to see the game that they played against the Dolphins, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. The offense got to pick it up. Like I said, it didn't help that Russell Wilson went out, but they got to pick that up. That's pretty tough. Giving up only scoring like not even 10 points against the Dolphins. It's pretty tough. So now we're moving on to the Falcons and the Raiders. My team, the Raiders, about to go 0 and excuse me, about to go 2-0. I'm taking the Raiders over the Falcons. Falcons should not have lost that game. Falcons, just like the Falcons should not have lost that game, the Raiders, as even though I'll take that 2-point conversion, the Raiders should not have won that game. There was a bad PI call. Pretty ticky-tack. Ronnie Barber was pissed off, as was not I, but I was, it was bad calls all game for the Raiders, going back and forth between both teams. But yeah, Raiders, man, pulling one out of their butts at the very end. And everyone knew it was going to Crabtree, best hand on the team. Just throw it up, and he came down with it, got the win. But they played well. They played pretty solid. I love that new guy, Jalen Richard. I think his name's Jalen, but I like the guy Richard. I like him a lot. I like the whole change of pace play that they got with Richard. They can bring Latavius Murray in big back. You can get they need that first down. Hopefully, I hope they can get more tight end work in. They can maybe go double tight. Pause. They can go double tight pause and get Clive Walford in there. Lee Smith's a big blocker. Clive Walford's more of the receiving type. I hope they can get him including the offense a little bit more. But yeah, Amari Cooper looking great, man. That's the kind of progression you want to see from a first year to a second year receiver, especially at receiver. And Derek Carr, that's the leader. That's the quarterback of the future. If this is the guy that we've all been waiting for, if you're a Raider fan, then we've been through some tough ones. Jamarcus obviously, but Josh McCown, Andrew Walter, what's his name? The other black guy, number 2, that was pretty rough. He used to play on the Saints. I don't remember his name. But we've been through a lot. We even had Dante Culpepper for a little bit, But yeah, it's a good time to be a Raider fan. Really good time. Not so much for the Falcons. Kind of tough. Yeah, man, that was tough. They should have won that game against the Bucks. Kind of blew it late. I didn't really watch the whole thing. I just saw the highlights, but what I could see, is typical Falcons kind of stuff that they always all the fans complain about over there in Atlanta. All the Falcons do, you know. Hopefully they can turn it around, just not this week. Raiders over the Falcons. Chargers Jags, another tough game. You know, Chargers at home. Usually, whenever like I said, I always take the home team when I don't know. But Chargers have the worst home field advantage in the entire NFL. I'm a Raider fan. Whenever I go down there for Raider games, it's 50-50, sometimes 55-45. And if you want, I'm just being nice because it's almost like 60-40 Raiders fans over Chargers fans in San Diego. Not even at, it's pretty bad. And then you go to anytime you see the Chargers, because in LA, Raider games get blacked out. So on Channel 2, before the Rams, you would see Charger games. If they cut and they showed that little wide view shot of all the fans everywhere, whoever they were playing, you would always see at least 20-30% of that other fan, the other team, jersey color everywhere throughout the stadium. It's pretty bad. Sometimes when you hear more people cheering and yelling and stuff and more into it for the opposing team at Qualcomm than for the Chargers, and it's pretty sad, pretty depressing. And I hope they can really figure it out. As a Raider fan, don't really want Chargers here, but maybe they'll come here. I don't know. With all that being said, man, I don't know. I hope the Chargers can fix it, turn things around just for their sake. One likes to see a team move, but the Jags, they played pretty well against the Pack. I don't really know what happened in that game either. I don't really watch the game that much, but they did put up a lot of points. I don't really know what happened, but I do know that I do like the receivers and including the tight end. I like Julius Thomas. Chargers defense was okay. They did okay in the first half, but then just kind of blew apart in the second half. But this one's pretty tough. I don't know. I'm gonna go on a limb here and take the Jaguars on the road. That was a tough loss for the Chargers to take. Hard to come back from that. I'm gonna go with the Jaguars on the road. All right, I'm running out of time here. I'm gonna try to wrap this thing up a little bit. I might go a little speed round. All right, 3 more games. So give me the Colts. Give me the Broncos over the Colts. Andrew Luck looked great. He just needs more help. Really, T.Y. Hilton's great. His line got a little bit better, but that's not really saying much considering how bad they've been recently. But they are getting a little bit better. But they played good, not good enough to win. Obviously, they also had a little boneheaded stuff going at the end of the game, but that's stuff you can fix. And then just the Broncos defense, man, they looked really great in the second half against Cam Newton and the Panthers. You might say that they're headhunting or doing all that stuff, and you know what? Maybe they are. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the Colts aren't as good with Andrew Luck on the field. Let me rephrase that. Their strategy is that the other team isn't as good if their best player is not on the field, and it looks to me that their whole point, that their strategy is getting him off the field any way possible, whether that's 3 and outs, keeping him off the field that way, interceptions, fumbles, or taking him out of the game as far as shutting down the receivers so the quarterback can't throw, that kind of stuff. But some people are also trying to say maybe they're trying to hurt these guys, headhunting. Cam Newton took a lot of pretty bad shots at the head. And that's definitely one way to get him off the field, but it's not the way that it should be done. But yeah, regardless, the Broncos, man, their defense looks pretty good. People thought they were gonna take a step back, but they were really, really aggressive, and look for more of that going forward. Packers Vikings, man. So the Vikings look to be this year's Broncos of last year, where it kind of might not matter how the quarterback plays, because that defense is pretty damn good. Anthony Barr holding it down, and for the linebacker out on the line, Harrison Smith in the back. Just that defense is pretty good, man. Pretty solid, pretty tough. And there's hopefully they can figure out a game plan to get AP going on offense. That's really it. They're going old. They got to pretty much at this point go old school unless Sean Hill or Sam Bradford can just light it up somehow, which he might not be able to. But they got to go old school here with ground and pound, running the ball hard on offense, and then playing really stout defense. But it might not be enough to stop the Packers. They looked pretty good. Jordy Nelson's back for Aaron Rodgers. They had to work some things out week one. It was pretty good that they got a little, I guess, I hate to say it like this, but a warm-up against the Jags. It's a warm-up game for them pretty much. And Packers on the road. I'll take Packers over the Vikings on the road. They can hopefully, get things going and prove it to themselves, against a pretty good defense if they can keep doing what they do on offense. And so, and then Monday night, Eagles-Bears. I picked the Bears. I really want those. I don't really want them to do well but I do have some vested interest in them with Jay Cutler and Alshon Jeffrey. But man, the Eagles look pretty damn good. Carson Wentz looked pretty good. I didn't watch how the Bears played, but hopefully they can play a lot better than the Browns because Carson Wentz looked pretty damn good. And then you can say that's an inflated stat or so just because well, the Browns suck, and they do suck. But Carson Wentz for a rookie, pretty good. No interceptions. That's like I said in the last pod. That's the best thing that you can have as a stat as a quarterback. And more than anything, it's just no turnovers. But yeah. I'm not sure on this one. Again, man, I don't know how well the Bears defense has been. I know it's not as good as it used to be with like Lance Briggs and Peanut and Brian Urlacher and all those guys. But man, toss up. Give me that's tough. They didn't win. You know what? Give me the Eagles on the road. I don't really know. I don't really. I just really don't know at this point. So I know the Eagles look pretty good. Give me the Eagles on the road. Yeah. So those are my picks. That's my fantasy stuff. I gotta get out of here. And my camera's running low on battery. My computer's running low on battery. I got some other things to do later. So little rushed. It's all right though. Glad I did this. I gotta get it going. I gotta keep it going for the rest of the season. And then yeah. If you like this, remember, subscribe, like, comment, listen, all that stuff. Share with your friends. And if you got any ideas or tips or anything like that, or for fantasy football strategy or anything like that, you can leave a comment. You can hit me up on all my social media platforms in the bio, on both SoundCloud and YouTube. Hit me up on everything if you want. Follow me, all that stuff. Yeah. So check you guys next time when I recap everything and see how my teams did. And hope you guys' fantasy does well. Hope your favorite team wins this weekend. Unless you're the Falcons, I don't wish well on you. Catch you guys later. Have a good weekend. Go Raiders.